This year's Christmas is simple, Mom said as she handed my daughter a pair of socks. Moments later, my brother's kids unwrapped brand new consoles and laptops. Dad chuckled, "Don't make this about money." I helped my daughter with her coat and drove home in silence. Next morning, I posted screenshots of every bill and payment I'd ever covered, and the family group chat exploded. "Don't act like a victim, Elijah," Lila said, her voice slicing through the room like a knife. The sound of her fork clattering against the plate echoed in the heavy silence that followed. Mom froze, pretending to adjust the napkins, while Dad chewed like nothing happened, his knife scraping against the plate in slow, deliberate motions. The TV murmured in the background, playing some Christmas commercial that didn't belong in this house anymore. "You think paying a few bills makes you some kind of hero?" Lila spat, her lipstick smudged from too much wine. I didn't move. I'd learned not to. My daughter sat next to me, small hands wrapped around her cup, eyes darting between faces she didn't understand. Dad sighed heavily. "You always turn things into drama. Maybe if you helped your brother with the house loan instead of complaining—" "I already did," I said, calm, quiet. The room went still. Mom's fork slipped from her fingers and hit the floor. "What? What do you mean you did?" she whispered. I looked at her. Not with anger, just with the kind of tired honesty that comes after years of pretending not to notice. "Check your accounts," I said, and in that second I swear, even the air stopped moving. Mom's voice cracked, trembling like she already knew the answer. "Elijah, what else have you done behind our backs?" "My name's Elijah Ward, 27 years old, the quiet one, the dependable one, the one who fixed what they broke. The pipes, the cars, the peace. I used to think silence was strength. Turns out, silence just teaches people how to forget you exist. I was the one who covered late bills when Dad forgot. The one who moved back home when Mom cried that the mortgage was too heavy. The one who stayed quiet when my brother got the praise for things I paid for. You don't realize how invisible you've become until people start talking about you like you're not even in the room. But I've learned something. Silence isn't weakness. It's storage. And tonight, I was done storing their lies. Mini hook. Because I'd been holding one truth for years, and it was about to burn through every secret in that house. Faces around the table. Dad, Howard Ward, 56, still wears his old company badge like a medal, though the company let him go years ago. Loud when he's winning, quiet when he's cornered. Mom, Marianne, kind eyes, trembling hands. Always caught between defending him and pretending not to see what he's done. Lila, 25. Makeup perfect, heart sharp. Always first to speak, last to listen. Drew, 23. The golden boy. Every mistake covered, every debt erased, by someone else's name. The house smelled of cinnamon candles and tension. They were arguing about Christmas gifts. Again. "Lila's kids deserve nice things," Mom said, setting down her wine glass. "And my daughter deserves socks?" I asked quietly. Dad pointed his fork at me. "Don't make this about money, Elijah." I laughed softly. "I never do. But you always do." Every eye turned toward me. You could feel it. That cold panic when the quiet one finally speaks. They didn't know it yet. But this wasn't just another argument. It was their final dinner as a family built on secrets. Mom's tone sharpened. "You've always been bitter, Elijah. Ever since your father helped Drew buy his first house." I tilted my head. "Helped? You mean when he used my savings?" Dad's knife stopped midair. He looked at me with that warning glare. The one that used to make me shut up as a kid, but I wasn't a kid anymore. Lila rolled her eyes. "Oh, stop acting like you're a saint. You left when things got hard." "No," I said evenly. "I left after paying your rent for 8 months." Her lips parted, but no sound came out. Mom whispered, "That's not true." "It's all in the transfers," I said. "You'll find them, if you bother to look." For a moment, no one spoke. Only the soft buzz of phones lighting up as the truth landed on their screens. Dad muttered under his breath, "You were never supposed to find out." And that was when I realized they hadn't just taken my money, They'd taken my trust and built their lives on it. What was I not supposed to find out? I asked. Dad didn't answer. Mom was crying now, the way she always did when she knew she was caught but couldn't admit it. Howard? She whispered. Just tell him. Lila looked down at her plate. Drew fidgeted with his napkin like a child. Finally, Dad spoke. That college fund, he said slowly. Your mother and I, we used it to help Drew start his business. My chest tightened. The fund I built working double shifts? The one I kept for school? You weren't even enrolled anymore, Mom snapped. It was just sitting there. It was mine, I said. Calm, steady, terrifyingly soft. And that's when they saw it. The danger of someone who's been silent too long. I leaned forward, eyes steady. You always told me family means sacrifice. I just didn't know it meant mine. Flashback, almost 7 years ago. I was packing boxes for college that never came. Dad came in, told me the funds delayed. Mom couldn't even look at me. That same week, Drew totaled his car. Dad called it an accident. Mom said, family helps family. So I smiled, said, of course, and took a job unloading trucks at night. The smell of motor oil, wet cardboard, and regret followed me everywhere. They said I'd thank them one day, but every paycheck I handed over, every temporary loan, dug the hole deeper. That's when I learned something they never did. Love isn't about giving everything, it's about knowing when to stop. Back in the present, Drew suddenly slammed his hand on the table. You think you're the only one with secrets? He snapped. Lila hissed. Drew, shut up! He shook her off. No, let's tell him. Let's tell St. Elijah the truth. I frowned. What truth? Mom stood up, panic in her voice. Drew, please! He ignored her. Dad didn't lose his job last year. He was fired for stealing company funds. And guess who paid off the debt to keep it quiet? The room froze. All eyes turned to me. Mom whispered, Drew, enough. I felt sick. You let me cover that for you? Dad looked broken. You were the only one who could handle it, he said softly. I stood, voice shaking but calm. You're right, Dad. I can handle the truth. Can you handle losing the only person who ever protected you? The shouting started again. Voices overlapping, guilt spilling into the air, Mom begging me to stop, Lila crying, Drew storming out. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. Instead, I reached into my jacket and pulled out a small envelope. I slid it across the table. Inside are screenshots of every transfer, every bill, every debt I've covered for this family. They're all backed up, public, permanent. Dad's face drained of color. You wouldn't dare. I already did, I said. The air turned heavy. I gave you all my silence, I said slowly. Tonight, I give you the truth. Mom fell to her knees, clutching her chest. Elijah, please, don't destroy us. I looked down at her. Not with hate, but with something worse. Mom, I'm not destroying us. You did that when you chose lies over me. I picked up my daughter's coat, gently helped her into it, and turned toward the door. No shouting, no goodbye, just the sound of my keys hitting the table. Elijah, please, Mom cried. Don't walk away from family. I turned, meeting her eyes. You walked away first. I just stopped following. Outside, snow was starting to fall. Soft, quiet, pure. For the first time, I could breathe. In the car, my daughter asked softly, Daddy, are you okay? I smiled. I am now, sweetheart. But as I looked at the house fading in the rearview mirror, I realized freedom feels lighter than forgiveness, but it still hurts. Weeks passed, no calls, no messages, just silence, the kind I could finally choose. Then one night, a text lit up my phone. It was from Lila. I'm sorry, Elijah. I didn't know how much you carried. You didn't deserve that. I stared at it for a long time. Didn't reply, not out of hate, just peace. I wasn't angry anymore. I was free. Some nights my daughter asks, Will Grandma call again? I smile gently. Maybe. People change, but sometimes they just take longer than we hoped. And that's okay. because I wasn't waiting anymore. For the first time, I don't carry their weight anymore. If you were Elijah, would you forgive or would you walk away forever? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your story might help someone heal tonight, like if you felt Elijah's silence, his pain, and his strength. Subscribe for more stories that hit the heart and stay with you, because sometimes silence isn't weakness. It's just the beginning of truth.